Welcome to G.A.S. Poetry, Art, and Music. We begin with Paul Richmond, who happens to be the National Beat Poet Laureate for the years 2019 through 2020.
Yeah, I woke up this morning. Everything seemed the same. Everything was different. Everything was different, though. A virus was in the air. And we're talking isolation lockdown. We're talking isolation lockdown. Change, change, change. Are you ready for a change? I find myself paralyzed. The endless misinformation, the endless lies and confusion, elected officials talking and talking and talking about protecting us. The reality is they are neglecting us. The lies, the mistrust, pulling us apart. We all need to pull together. We need to organize. Change, change, change. Are you ready for a change? I mean, people are in need. I'm talking about my neighbors. I'm talking about my friends. Those of us trying to get by. The moneymakers only see time to make some money here on the sick and dying. Selling needed supplies to the highest bidders. Creating fear and scarcity. Raise those prices. Do I hear a raise those prices? Change, change, change. Are you ready for a change? The bailout isn't for you and me. It's filling the bank accounts of the rich. Trillions magically appear for those who don't need it. While those of us in need the most, yeah, we're going to fight for the crumbs. That's right, they're going to let us fight for the crumbs. Change, change, change. Are you ready for change? Our government refusing to acknowledge, refusing to respond. The calls for testing, needed supplies, money to keep everybody afloat. Instead being told to ask nicely, please don't let Grandma and Grandpa die. Change, change, change. Are you ready for change? It's called genocide. If you can't murder by war, you murder with sanctions, denying health care, denying medical and food supplies. Demand a regime change or die. Take no responsibility for using military might. You do what we say or you die. Change, change, change. Are you ready for change? I'm talking about insanity over science, who to believe, conspiracies battling for my attention, while the news is used as propaganda. Who to believe? Is there a pandemic? Is there a grabbing of power? Was the system already crumbling? So why not crash it with a pandemic? The perfect excuse. The virus did it. Shut everything down, put everybody out of business. The rich got richer. The virus did it. We're all bankrupted, lost many of our freedoms. The rich got richer. The rich did it. Change, change, change. Are you ready for a change? Our leaders, our government tells us what a great job they're doing. The best job ever. So many lies, yet many believe. When it's so obvious the earth and life is being destroyed for the almighty dollar. But believe me, it's going to be the best dollar yet. Change, change, change. Are you ready for change? A cry for wanting our lives back. I wish things were normal again. We're not going back to what was called normal. Nature and all life being expendable. We don't want to go back to what was called normal. Now is the time. Now is the time. Change, change, change. We really need to change. We really need a change. Change, change, change.
Hi, this is Donna Snyder in El Paso, Texas. I'm going to read for you Oseye. A white and black cross pulses through the Milky Way. Now, a chevron, a hole in the center, is the soul source. It's pasted over with white skin waiting to take all the light. Sunlight too bright to see color, black shades to gray. Paper skin burned too many times, somehow solid still, but thin. Thin as air is clean before the initial flames. Ojo de Dios made of paint, paper, thread, and flesh. Bent light becomes fuchsia chords across a treble clef, hit randomly by fingers blinded by light. Piano keys frame a rose the color of Venus, caged by bars of black and pink. She sees her reflection in the mirror at her feet, flies through the air like her son on his tiny wings. Venus rises from the amniotic foam, born an orphan. Virgins call to the solid earth on the other side, pray for erotic love to bless all things as she is blessed. Venus blessed while trapped in a rose cage. The horse screams its hunger and fear, the universe on fire. Only the misfits notice that she is starving and terrified. The goddess of fecundity, mere prey. Drunken men indifferent to impending death. She gallops through flames, mouth agape, a futile effort to fill her lungs with clean air. She runs in a fury, her mane and tail ablaze, a comet through darkness. For a moment she remembers water, solace from a knowing hand that soothed her hunger. The hand gone up in flame like the trees. The air is black and red, the earth ochre, the sun obliterated. She sees a black hole in the flames and leaps. Summertime rain, dedicated to Oseye. Swing clarinets blink neon in a foggy afternoon. Black wings take to the carmine sky. A cry rises loud enough to be heard on the other side. Flash of black limbs spread deep into ruddy earth. Another son dead 50 years before his time. Another mama looking hard for some good to find. A spontaneous will stretches from the golden gate to the one made of pearl. Despair travels the highway that ends only in unfriendly waves. Either way, waters cold or warm still drown the same. Every mother's sun rises on a world black with pain. Every breath becomes a sob. Every mother's son lucky each day he doesn't die. Flesh become black palm, skin become walnut. Every time another son is gone, every mother joins in the silent sigh. Nothing as cold as a summertime rain.
Here is Mari Deweese with original music out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Leave me drier than this desert. Leave me heaving, barren and bereft. I must wander with my grief swept under on a path that takes me down. On the road that leads to heaven, I shed no tears for what is left. I've given up at last on innocence. I've spotted me pipe dreams by the ground without a guide. I decide that to better hide my eyes behind and release my pride.
Neorah Garcia, El Paso, Texas. Progress. Forward or onward movement toward a destination. But where are we going? Blue skies, gray mountains in the distant horizon, border fence, border patrol helicopters, fence around a recreation center, restaurant, and bar where you can drink and hit golf balls into the air. They go nowhere. Condominiums and new homes that all look related, built too close together. No yard, fake grass. Man's attempt to add beauty in nature. Desert landscaping. To a once already beautiful desert before it was torn apart by machinery and human hands. The remnants of an arroyo where animal life once flourished and a river of water flowing through it during monsoon season that provided nourishment. Now dried up and strewn with leftover building materials and trash from the nearby bars and businesses. Displaced squirrels scurrying through parking lots and dumpsters, hanging out by man-made water fountains. To regress, return to a former or less developed state, sometimes is the best progress.
Hello, my name's Susan Darlington and I live in Leeds, West Yorkshire, which is in the United Kingdom. I'm very pleased to be able to share a couple of poems with you today. And the first one I'm going to read is called The Doll's House. It was anger that made the door shrink until she could barely fit through it anymore. A hand grazing the white frame livid red, and her shoulders snapping it from its hinges. It was anger that made the seams of her dress strain across her hips and the bud of her breasts, hitching the hem above flushed legs that kicked against the vermilion walls she'd overgrown. It was anger that made her smash a china cup through the rain-ground window that confined the stagnant air and towards which her waxy neck craned, growing long as it twisted to the light. It was anger that gave her the voice to say, "No more," that made the doll's house crash down around her. And as she rose from the debris, it was the first time she could truly breathe. This next piece is about wanting to run away to the circus to become a trapeze artist, but then remembering that you have no sense of balance and you don't have a head for height either. The trapeze creaks as the door opens. He climbs the ladder to the platform, adjusts the cut of his costume, and rubs his hand with chalk. He looks over at me, inclines his head, and we pace in steady rhythm to the end of the pedestal board, pausing together to focus our minds. I reach out with the swing's ropes, pull them towards me and grasp the bar, where the wood is well worn with years of our ingrained sweat. With my knees bent and body relaxed, I step off the edge of the platform and feel gravity take my weight as I hang unsupported in the air. I shift my frame, kick my legs over the bar, and lean backwards to take the swing to where he stands. As it does, I reach across for his hands. His fingers lock around mine, each callus and scar a familiar groove. My momentum pulls him with me until only trust keeps us from the ground. As the swing moves back and forth, I feel his fingers start to loosen from my grasp. Although I try to hold on, he slips away again. The final piece I'm going to read for you today came about from something I read about stone babies, which is a medical phenomenon that occurs when a pregnancy fails and the fetus calcifies while still in the mother's body. There have been cases of this where a woman has carried around a stone baby for 50 years undetected, which just seems to be incredibly moving. Stone babies grow here, their colourless eyes closed in a dark shared dream, and their once soft hands carved into a tight hold. In one another they have the only company they'll ever need, and as I curl under the sheets in the thin grey light of morning, they make an unspoken pact to never be born. I carry their secret, unknowing while their skin calcifies inside me, and my body shrinks around them, hardening until a third strata is born.
This is Michael Philip Castro from northern Florida's Osceola National Forest. Ezra Pound. In London. Before I die, the greatest poems. Loud, brash. I happen to be genius and deserve. East of Haley, Idaho, 4 years yet born. Big Whiskey, Wyoming, 1881, Unforgiven. Will Money, Spencer Barrel at Little Bill's Face. Supine, deserves got nothing to do with it. Arrived, 14 August, 1908, not yet 23. Pair of deuces, knew nobody, only $15, no pounds. Popular press, agreeably startled. Serious critics, seldom impressed, unfazed. Pounded out, promoted by bizarre means. Trousers made of green billiard cloth, a pink shirt, a tie painted Japanese, a mint sombrero, flaming beard cut to exclamation, single large blue earring, kind but blustering adolescent, almost arrested development. Punch parodied palpitating works, the new Montana poet, Mr. Ezekiel 10. Took it as a compliment, wrote home. London offered ultimate laurel, taken cognizance. Under influence, altered, stilted language to spoken idiom. Austere, direct, free from slither.
This is Beau Blue and the Back Alley Blues Band. How can we find love? Beau Blue is a narcissist and a psychopath. Thank God he's invisible.
You bring on your own isolation, hiding behind your perfume wall, alluding to some soft fascination, then shortchanging yourself. Dole out your day of compassion, slip through your nights without dreams, wonder why love keeps on crashing, while your life falls apart at the seams. How can we find love face to face with another stranger? How can we find love when all we know is fear and all we feel is danger? All we feel is danger. All we You're reaching for love in slow motion, pretending you don't really care, colliding with desperate emotion. How can we find love face to face with us? another stranger? How can we find love when all we know is fear? All we feel is danger. All we feel is danger. All we feel is danger.
Love and the coronavirus. She's the one. Eyes so damned inviting and asymptomatic with a killer on her breath. Inhale deeply, little brother. It's not a big deal debt. And it's damned exciting being just this close to death. Makes you madman horny. Calculate each bet. Plan your dances cautiously and spin tales of beauty's best. I'm an old white guy in an all-white room going batshit crazy. I'm designing a replacement house for the one that burned down on February the 13th. 1 a.m. and everybody running, making for so far away, and then some. Now I'm in a city wondering how much 2x6s cost, why this place I'm living in now is so damn noisy, and which of my new neighbors passing, oh so often, is Typhoid Mary's hitman come to find me home. Now I'm needing guys who drive, with masks, big tractors to survive. What was once is now charred debris. I'm stunned by all the ruin that I see.
Hi, I'm Susie. I'm in Florida, United States. Here's a poem called Another Equinox, multiple parts. 1. Find a day you think is auspicious, a solstice, an equinox, a funeral, and go to the water. When the glint of her color that day fills your eyes, remove your shoes, step into the intersection, the vortex of mom. Fill your lungs and apologize. 2. Wherever you are, feed all the birds. Others will come, the desperate and the lame. They too have mitochondrial memory. Listen beyond your eyes to their 2 notes descending, their testimony of loss. Feed all the birds and witness the rare, the intersection of lives in this moment. This one. One day, a single sandhill crane will allow himself your proximity. His orange gaze meets yours. Offer him seeds and step away. In a basket nearby is his wife, the mother of his children, who is silent at the edge of listening. Over days of years, their echo rises to the horizon, including those of hers upon finding their babies dead, her cry a core of grief unmistakable in any language. They too have mitochondrial memory. And one June, just standing at an intersection of equal grace, will be the surviving child shown to you, because that child is yours too, theirs and yours, in now, in memory, in now. 3. The trick is to coexist, to own your body, the actions of your hands. One morning the lizard watches you beyond your eyes in his subsonic song, his posture of courtship. 2 notes. Keep yourself still. Just breathe. Count, if you must, these moments, memories of now, hours in the mitochondrial, in the vortex of mom. 4. The trick is to coexist, and by this we witness critical data. In the land of death there are no birds. Perhaps a lone dove escaped from a wedding perches on a wire, the garrote of the ecosystem, quietly cooing 2 plaintive notes, echoed in the mitochondrial memory by whales as the Arctic burns, by all that dies in the fires of the Amazon, by all that dies in the vortex of mom. Winged sister, winged witness, who tries to coexist, to learn our tricks of where we leave food. We shall feed you and share pride in your new ducks. We witness your 2 notes, your core of all language, your feathers at our feet, each a touch of the surf, sun, sand, salt, echoing our eternal memory in the vortex of mom.
Here's a vintage piece. Poet Ron Androla from Erie, Pennsylvania, reads a piece by Andrew Darlington in Ossett, Yorkshire. And right after, you will hear Andrew Darlington's voice.
I am going to read something from Mr. Andrew Darlington. And this was posted on, Pressure Press. Okay, then Facebook, Pressure Press. Andrew Darlington, April 19th at 2:30 p.m. it says. He lives in England, right? Yeah. On a clear day, you can see forever, or at least from Holmfirth to Deanhead. I was into the seeds of doubt before you was into the seeds of doubt. I was there that night the drummer got drunk and fell off stage. Of course, there was Insect back then, before the switch. There was the night we tried to write some new songs. He says we can listen to some old Shadows B-sides and each put lyrics to it. Then we can speed it up. Where the melody line descends, we can take it up. Then we can play the lead hook line on Farfisa, whatever the fuck Farfisa is, instead of guitar, and no one will know. So we go away, and I write an epic Bob Dylan thing about waking up this morning and following the points on my winkle pickers down the road into the future. And he comes back with a lyric that goes, "Come on, baby, let's dance tonight. Come on, baby, let's shake all night." And I guess his lyric is so good, I'm too scared to do mine. So we work it around the tune, and he says, if we play the Shadows B-side backwards, it'll even be better. But we can't get it to play that way, so we get the big open-top Grundig tape recorder and record it. Then we can play it backwards, and it sounds amazing. Then we take it to the rest of the group, and they said it was shit. So we do a Chuck Berry cover instead. Okay.
Good evening. This is Post-modernist poetry, designed for use in hypermarkets, offices, air terminals, in-car systems, pedestrian precincts, and telephone answering services. functional poetry with stylistic malleability, angle-poised connections, and audio-visual connotations. Conceptual poetry that is its own medium, modified and attuned to taste. This is postmodernist poetry with the appliance of science, ideologically unsound sound for limited attention spans. Postmodernism is a synthesis placed at the correct cultural nexus and has interchangeable mix and match influence components. It is shrink-wrapped and date-stamped for an ideal shelf life of 3.5 minutes. This is postmodernist environmentalist poetry for subliminal subversion. It is soundtrack jingles for discord imprinted on rapid eye movement. Retinal shadow shows in hygienic cellophane packs ready for use. This is postmodernist poetry with a disposable, biodegradable shelf life of the next 3.5 minutes.
Here are a few poems I wrote at the beginning of the lockdown due to the pandemic. Isolation ship. Nearly 1,000 died in the USA today of COVID-19. I pushed myself to do the solitary walk outside as my husband is not well enough to accompany me. I've made a thick green loom around a tree in my backyard garden. I can no longer buy plants, pots, or dirt, but I can split profuse aloe vera. And it likes stretching out, filling in new places it is welcome. An aloe finger offers itself from an elevated perch next to my outdoor chair. It actually curves on the end as if it wants to be held. I clasp its cool finger and feel comfort and connection to life. Isolated in quarantine, I take comfort where I can. I have a husband, 2 cats, and plants who love me. Today we tried out for sci-fi movie, April 18, 2020, El Paso, 505 cases, 8 deaths. We were 2 old hippies on a mountaintop in a cool wind, one set banging on a clanky, knock-off pan drum, while the other played the car door with one hand, clicking the fingers on the sun visor with the other. People may have been stunned, entertained, or bemused, 3 parking spaces apart, while the deadly unseen stalked and threatened. From the darkness arose music to match the mood. We were aliens who hear another register no human can detect, pleasing our own race in another galaxy, saluting our infinite connection to all graced to hear, together touched by grief and compassion, with hope for at least the most boring day we ever had before COVID-19. Masks are required in public now, El Paso 4/24/20. You get inventive or die during lockdown. My little campout tonight is just in the backyard, in a reclining lawn chair, in an alcove of green, under a sheltering ash. Now I hear tiny life flutter in the stillness, with chime breezes, distant train whistles, and track rumbles in Mexico. For 9 years I've thought of this. An adventure within rock walls, protected from hungry wildlife, with spice from another country, no mask required. I don't know if I'll sleep tonight. I can't sleep inside. I might as well not sleep out here. On good days, you can see drive-by parades for loved ones. You notice what you need and what you don't. That happiness is connection and goals, not gold. People nod and wave on neighborhood walks, will move 6 feet to the side of coming toward you. Friends you barely know ask if you need anything. You connect to family on the phone. You try meditation instead of medication. You can imagine an end in sight, and you are not alone. Thank you for listening to the first G.A.S. PAM. That's Gypsy Art Show, Poetry, Art, and Music.